Howard, when you start looking around the globe at where you want to invest right now, what jumps out to you?
Well, what jumps out to me is, Vancouver's a good example. It was up, up, up until they put taxes on it. Now it's down. So the readjustment is happening. So you have to be careful with that. But it's interesting to me that when you look and you say the worst performing cities were, price-wise, were London and New York, yet they're ranked number 1 and 2 in the index, the Knight Frank index, as to where people want to be. And that's based on livability, obviously, government, taxes, culture. So people still want to be there. So I guess what you would look forward to is appreciation in those markets at some time. New York specifically was hurt this past year because of the mansion taxes and the other taxes that they're still talking about for New York City purchases.
So taxes obviously have a big impact. What about coronavirus? Does that change the picture at all? It's rapidly.
We haven't seen it yet. In fact, we were talking earlier. It's shocking that our open houses that brokers have weekends are packed. So
one place you still
I don't
see a
know.
crowd.
Maybe they just want to get out and they think that's a safe place to go. So it's pretty busy.
Your whole business changing to focus on those lower tax states where people want to move?
Yeah,
Is it happening?
Well, first of all, you have to change because it's happening. So, if you look at our volume numbers, we're up over 20% last year in volume in South Florida, and we're down 4% in New York City.
But I was going to ask you about that. If taxes are the #1 thing that really changed whether the desirability, how huge of an impact has that had here in New York? And you think there'll be a time where New York is no longer at the top?
It's had a very big impact.
Yeah.
But the fact is, people still want to be in New York. But at some point.
But that's what I wonder. What is that tipping point?
The breaking point.
That's what politicians
What is the breaking
talk
point,
about.
though?
No one knows until it happens.
Yeah.
Right now, with the legislature talking about now a pied-à-terre tax.
Right.
Yeah.
Which a pied-à-terre being, if you don't file state and city tax returns, it's a pied-à-terre. And then have another tax, like the mansion tax, except it'll be annual.
So,
smart real estate investors are going to kind of focus on, well, where do you go if you can't afford New York, or if you can't afford London? Is that Nashville? Is that Austin? Is that Madison, Wisconsin?
Those markets are almost overheated, though. You look at the price growth there, and it's just, they're quickly becoming less affordable.
They're quickly becoming less affordable, but they have the one thing necessary to deal with affordability.
Space.
And that's land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have lots and lots of land. So almost by definition, even though prices in Nashville have gone up a lot, Nashville gone up a lot, there's still an ability to catch up. The problem in California and all this homeless problem is that you have legislative, impediments to creating housing supply, and so you create a perpetual environment of shortage, which creates the highest prices in the country.
And aside from affordability, you've got the wealthy going to Florida because of the SALT tax changes, and in California going to Colorado,
Texas to a lesser extent.
Is your whole